So Gamescom just finished up, and right away, I'm just going to kind of go and tell you how I feel about it. It wasn't the best show in the world, nor was I expecting it to be. Now, I'm not saying that it was a bad showcase. It's just that I've sat through enough Jeff Keighley showcases to kind of understand how he operates. And more often than not, they're long showcases with pacing problems. But at the same time, what I will say here is that the good news is that there's always some really cool announcements scattered throughout. And that's what I like to prefer to focus on. So what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to highlight the best announcements at Gamescom 2024. Now, I'll kind of give you my thoughts on everything, including the biggest announcement of the day. And that's actually what I'm going to go ahead and get into first. We all knew that Xbox was going to have a big presence at this year's Gamescom. We've been talking about this for months now. But little did we know, that wasn't necessarily for just their own sake, but also apparently for the PlayStation 5 as well. Yeah, the rumors were absolutely 100% true. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle got its release date and its announcement for the PlayStation 5 altogether. It's officially set to release for Xbox, Xbox Game Pass, and PC for December 9th, meaning that this will be one of their premier games this holiday. But in the same breath, they also announced a PlayStation 5 version for spring of 2025. And personally, just because this is a licensed game, I don't find this to be completely surprising. I would have actually been more surprised if it would have been Halo or Forza, just because those are historic Xbox franchises. But for me, I'd say the more baffling part about this announcement is actually just the timing of everything. I'm not really exactly sure what Microsoft is expecting to accomplish by announcing this before the Xbox version has even had a chance to sell their own consoles and subscriptions. You know, you would think that would be their number one priority. They originally had a game to sell Xbox consoles and Xbox Game Pass subscriptions this holiday. But now, because they've announced a PS5 version that will release just months afterwards, you know, this is not a significant time frame for timed exclusivity. So they're kind of cutting themselves short a little bit this holiday. I'm sure a lot of people won't mind waiting for just a few extra months to get the PS5 version. So I just kind of feel like the timing for this announcement and the short timed exclusive window is a little bit strange in terms of strategy. I'm just not sure what Microsoft is doing here anymore. And I think by this point, the Xbox community really deserves a better and more clear explanation, because I think they're a little confused as well. I mean, it was just mere months ago when Phil Spencer said this.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's kind of awkward to listen to right now, but here we are. Now, I can't completely fault Phil Spencer alone on this, just because it was probably actually Microsoft's upper management that vetoed him. We've talked about this a lot this past year. Microsoft seemingly has taken a lot of control away from Team Xbox since the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Microsoft wants a return on investment. But I do feel like the Xbox community deserves some kind of clear message by this point. You know, they're the one that's paying for consoles. They're the one that's paying for subscriptions. So I feel like they at least deserve some kind of explanation. Now, do keep in mind, though, that you still get the benefit of Game Pass, which, hey, that's really cool. But let me know what you all think about this announcement. I think this is going to be a huge story for the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, that wasn't the only Xbox announcement, though. Again, they had a significant presence at Gamescom, which included new trailers for Black Ops 6, which is looking really good, Age of Mythology, Diablo Vessel of Hatred, World of Warcraft, and a release date for Starfield Shattered Space. Yes, Starfield is still an Xbox exclusive because Xbox still believes in exclusives. They're just kind of balancing this kind of very strange strategy right now, but it will be available on September 30th, which includes vehicles. I remember this was actually one of the biggest complaints last year when it first launched, and they finally added it in. So Starfield is only getting better, which is great because I thought it was already a pretty good game as is. They also gave us an update for Towerborn. It's officially been delayed into 2025, and it will now be a free-to-play game, which personally, I think is perfectly fine. Being free-to-play really might benefit this game in the long run. But what was really kind of surprising about this announcement is that it'll launch into Steam Early Access on September 10th. Now, several people were taken back by this announcement because this is an Xbox first-party game, and it is a little bit strange that it's launching on Steam before Xbox. But after the event, I'm happy to say that Xbox Early Access is also planned as well. It'll just release a little bit later on. And speaking of free-to-play, one of the most popular free-to-play games is finally heading over to Xbox on November 20th, being Genshin Impact. So there you go. It's been a long wait, but that there is a big win for Xbox players. Now, beyond Xbox, though, we also got some other cool announcements, including what was basically two Little Nightmares 3 games. Yeah, we got the official Little Nightmares 3, which is being developed by Supermassive Games. They're behind games like Until Dawn, and they've been tasked to carry the mantle for Little Nightmares 3. Bandai Namco considers this a major IP for them, and after Tarsier Studios was acquired by THQ Nordic, they had to license it out to someone else, and what I'll kind of say here is that I think Supermassive Games is doing a pretty good job with Little Nightmares 3. It does appear to be shaping up rather well. Now, the only thing is that we still don't have an exact release date. All we currently know is that it's coming sometime in 2025. Now, as for Tarsier Studios, they also announced their own game, Reanimal, and I mean, when you look at this, it's basically Little Nightmares but with a twist, a very small twist, but there's some very spooky animals involved. And I will say, out of the two games, I think Reanimal looks creepier and more terrifying. But either which way, I mean, again, you're basically getting two Little Nightmares 3 games in a soonish period of time. So fans for that series are absolutely eating very well right now. Though I will say we don't have a release date for Reanimal. So it's kind of hard to say how close it is to a release, but so far it looks like a Tarsier game, which that alone is a great sign, if anything else. You know what was quietly one of the best reveals for the day, though? And this is kind of shocking because it's a MetaQuest 3 exclusive, but Batman Arkham Shadows. I mean, fans have been asking Rocksteady for a new Batman Arkham game for years and years, and instead we got Suicide Squad. Yeah, how the mighty has fallen. But overall in VR, there is a legitimate Batman Arkham game, and it actually looks really, really good. I was not expecting this at all, but it has pretty much everything that you'd want from a Batman Arkham title. It has the mechanics, it's got the iconic art style, and really the only big difference is that it is a VR title. It is a first-person game because you will be Batman in Arkham Shadows. So this really is kind of the game that fans have been asking for. It's just ironically not on the platforms that we've been asking for them to be on. So you can kind of take that as you will. This is kind of a Half-Life Alyx situation here, but it will be out this October, and MetaQuest 3 might have a real system seller on their hand if this game turns out as good as it looks. Now, a new Dying Light game was also announced, and I think its reveal might have confused some people. This is actually a smaller scale standalone adventure that brings back Kyle Crane, and it's set in a completely new region. So you don't have to have Dying Light 2 in order to play this new edition. But however, if you paid for the Dying Light 2 Ultimate Edition, you will get access to this game at no additional cost. So I think this will give it an opportunity to bring in new fans and old fans alike. I think that could actually work out in this case, especially if this new adventure is received well. However, its release date and price is currently unknown. Now, we also got some teasers for some pretty big franchises. I don't really have too much to say about these games just because they didn't reveal all that much, but I know a lot of people will be very excited about them, so it's still nice to at least get confirmations. One is the return for Borderlands. Borderlands 4 is now official. I mean, we kind of knew that it was coming, but now it is official, and even better here is that it's planned for a 2025 release. Just hopefully it'll be better than the recent movie, which has not been doing all that well. Timing of this announcement probably could have been better, but nonetheless, we shouldn't have to wait too long for a better reveal with some gameplay because, again, it is planned for 2025. Now, we also got a teaser for Mafia: The Old Country. This was actually the way they ended the event, kind of a interesting way to end. I really don't know. But anyways, this is actually a really interesting announcement in the sense that it reveals a completely new setting. It will be in Italy this time, which I think is a pretty cool idea for a Mafia game that could actually turn out very well. But unfortunately, like I said, this is just a teaser trailer, so we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to get actual gameplay. Now, they did say that there will be more details at the Game Awards, so if you are interested in this one, you're definitely going to want to keep an eye out for that event. Now, in terms of new IP, there wasn't really a lot that caught my attention, except for maybe Linked Banner of the Spark World. This appears to be an action RPG with some building sim elements involved. So it's kind of split up between building your own town and then fighting off enemies. Admittedly, I am a little hesitant with this one, but it also caught my attention, and I think it might have some promising potential. At least that's what I guess I'm kind of hoping for. I mean, it just looks like it could maybe be a fun game, but apparently it will come to Steam Early Access on October 22nd, so we're not going to have to wait too long. That was pretty much it for my highlights, though. I don't know how long this video will be, but I don't think that it's going to be overly long, and I think that kind of tells you something about Jeff Keighley's Gamescom. You know, it's a 2-hour-long showcase condensed into a short video of just a few highlights. I mean, the truth is, though, it's just not surprising. It's really always the same thing with his showcases. They're very long with a lot of fluff, and then there's the occasional interesting announcement. I mean, I still thought it was an okay showcase. I didn't think that it was just flat out bad, but this is kind of my expectations for his events. You know, I just feel like his events are more about the money by this point than it is about the games. They're just so long, and we kind of know why now. It's because he's making a lot of money per reveal. I'm just going to throw that out there. But, you know, we did get some release dates for some other games like Unknown 9, which will be out on October 18th. So there you go. And then there's also Marvel Rivals. I'm still not completely sold on that game, but I mean, it looks like it could be a more popular game than Concord, if anything else, and it'll be out this December. Then there's Civilization 7. That game actually looks pretty good and is slated for February 11th of 2025. So that's a pretty cool one. You know what was one of my favorite announcements here, though? And this wasn't even for a game, interestingly enough, but Blur, which works on CGI for games. They made an anthology series in partnership with Amazon. And this is for all kinds of different games, including Mega Man, Armored Core, Sifu, God of War, Pac-Man, The Outer Worlds 2, and so much more. It looks incredible. Unfortunately, I don't think that I can show it on screen because of copyrights, and the film industry is kind of weird about this type of stuff. But, you know, the creator on stage was so passionate about this announcement, and it really does look incredible. You know, we need more of that type of passion in the game industry, but yeah, it'll be out on December 10th for Amazon Prime, so I think that's actually a pretty cool announcement. Other than that, though, like I said, I thought Gamescom was okay. I'd probably give it a C-, which is, again, kind of my expectations for his events, but I just dropped a poll for you all to vote. You know, so if you disagree with me, if you think this is a fantastic event, let me hear it. You can go over to my community page right now and vote. We'll talk all about it tomorrow. But until then, that's going to be it for this episode. Make sure to subscribe, and peace out.